Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Decrypting Cryptocurrencies on Financial Express. And today I have with me Edul Patel, who is the co founder of Mudrex. Now, Mudrex is not really a cryptocurrency exchange as you would expect it to be. It's rather a cryptocurrency platform, and it does something very unique because it has bots that kind of trade for you. And this is a very unique initiative that Mudrex has. And so, welcome on board, Edul. I thought it's a good time to speak about cryptos again because we appear to be in kind of a bear market right now. I mean, Bitcoin prices have come down, and so have the prices of almost all other cryptos. And it seems to be struggling at this level between $30,000, $33,000 going up and down every day. So, are we in a bear market?
So, firstly, thanks for having me here, Roshun. I'm very, very happy and humbled to be on this call with you today. Circling back to Bitcoin, I think where we are right now is in a consolidation phase, is what I would want to say. Not clearly a bear market. It's not like the prices are just continuously going down, and it's also not like there is a general negative sell sentiment. What we are right now is in a consolidation phase where Bitcoin is looking for price discovery, where it is being figured out what is like a stable range. If you continuously see, there are these sort of levels where Bitcoin is constantly hitting, it's going down towards 30K at the lower end, at the 36 odd K at the upper end. So that 20% range is where it's oscillating back and forth and back and forth. And that is because there is very strong demand for Bitcoin at the lower levels from a lot of institutions and from a lot of retail folks. And at the same time, there is a very high resistance to breach because there are a lot of people also waiting on the sidelines to sort of start selling, right? That's sort of where we are. And Bitcoin typically drives the rest of the crypto market. So most of the other crypto market on a day-to-day basis might oscillate differently, but at a macro level, it's sort of common. And as a result, that's where we are. So I wouldn't still say that we are in like a bear market. I think we are in this discovery phase where price is being evaluated constantly and we're trying to figure out.
So, I mean, a lot of people say buy the dips. So is this one of those places where you got to buy the dip?
I'm a kind of a person who buys constantly because I'm a long-term believer in Bitcoin. If you're a believer in crypto and if you're buying it from the 20-year perspective, buying it just all the time is what makes sense. I personally did buy some time back and I've kept it safely. And I constantly continue these regular intervals.
Right. But there's still a lot of uncertainty around cryptocurrency. I mean, one, because a lot of people don't understand it even now in its entirety. And they say, I mean, smart investing strategy is that you shouldn't invest in something that you don't fully understand.
Absolutely.
Right? So where does Mudrex come in? How do you help if me as a retail investor, I want to get into cryptocurrency? So I obviously have to open an account on an exchange. It could be on Mudrex, it could be on any other exchange, or it could be on Binance, for example, and then connect my wallet, right? That's how it works.
Yes. So, just to sort of first explain what Mudrex does, is that at Mudrex, what we've realized is that for a normal retail investor to invest in crypto is a massive problem and a massive challenge because prices are ultra volatile. And when you want to say invest in the equities world means effectively putting in money in mutual funds or index funds or these systematic strategies that help you grow your wealth consistently and steadily over the long run, right? Such investing products don't exist at all in crypto today. And we think that if like the average retail investor is going to come in and people are wanting to figure out and learn and understand what crypto does, these products will need to be created. So that's what Mudrex does. We've created products that help investors invest and consistently and steadily make money over time in the longer run. So we build this almost like an automated fund manager, if you might say, to help people invest in algorithms better. Now, the way we is that you can come onto Mudrex and deposit crypto directly with us. You can purchase crypto from Mudrex as well. Or if you've got crypto in some other existing wallet, you can just connect that wallet with Mudrex and go ahead from there. So we are very flexible on the approach side. And of course, Mudrex is a global product. We support like the entire world. We've got paying customers from over 70 different countries.
Okay. But so crypto at the moment is still seen not really as a currency, I would say more as an asset, because people are not still trading like they would currencies. They're not buying stuff with crypto to the level that you would with the fiat currency. So, in
Absolutely.
your opinion, is it still an asset? And if it's an asset, how safe or risky is it? Is it as safe as gold?
Got it. So of course, crypto is not a currency. Like it is far from being a currency right now, because for it to be a currency, that it needs to have all of these properties of ease of transaction, significantly lower cost, ease of settlement, and so on and so forth. And those features are still not there. It will take time to come in. So crypto as such overall is an asset class, and inside this asset class we've got different kind of subcategories, if you might say, right? There are some cryptos that are trying to become currencies, like Litecoin, like Bitcoin, like XRP, and so on and so forth. There are some cryptos that are trying to become platforms, like Ethereum, like Cardano, like Solana, and so on and so forth. There are other cryptos that are actually companies and products being built on top of these existing platforms, right? Like Aave, like Compound, and so on and so forth. So crypto is this asset class under which you've got these different baskets and different buckets, and based on what you think is going to be the future of crypto, people can actually go out and invest and pick and choose and make those choices, or invest in those themes as such. And in
Okay.
fact, Rex is enabling such investments as well. So that's one part from the currency and asset perspective. From like a risk perspective, of course, crypto is risky. Like I would be lying if I told you that it's not, right? But then investing in any young company is risky. Investing in any young market, investing in any young innovation is risky, right? And crypto should be treated that ways. Asset classes take like tens of years to mature, and we are literally in just the 12th year of Bitcoin being out there, right? So this
Right.
is very,
Exactly.
very early, and as a result of that, risks needs to be gauged with that, of course, eventual future upside in mind, and the maturity of the product and industry in mind. So
Right.
yeah, that's where we are as such.
Okay. Now we have another big sword hanging over all your heads, right? Or everybody involved in cryptocurrency, which is the cryptocurrency regulation bill, which was supposed to be tabled in this session of Parliament. It got postponed from the budget session to the monsoon session, but the latest news is it's not even happening in the monsoon session, and it's been
Yes.
postponed indefinitely. So, one, being postponed indefinitely, is that a good thing? Two, what do you expect from this cryptocurrency bill? What do you expect the government is actually thinking of doing? Because a lot of people are talking about a ban, outright ban. I
Yeah.
don't think that's quite going to happen. So, what do you expect the government to do?
So I think I'll answer it in the reverse order. Let's just first talk about what I expect the government to do, and then we'll talk about
Yeah.
whether delaying it is a good thing or a bad thing, right? So I genuinely think that it's hard to figure out how do you regulate a new asset class for which use cases haven't been defined yet, right? Like it's an evolving, emerging kind of sort of sector, right? Like literally a year ago, half of the top currencies today weren't there even in the top 50, right? So it's a very evolving and fast-paced market. And typically, regulators' job becomes more and more difficult when the entire fundamental underlying industry is evolving at this pace, right? Because at the end of the day, the job of the regulator is to protect interests of the retail audience, of the arm army, if you might say, right?
Yeah.
And for them to be able to truly understand how can they protect their interests, there needs to be some stability, some coherency, and some understanding of what. So the job of the regulator itself is very tough over here, right? As to figure out where should you categorize this asset class into. So what I hope will eventually happen is that just like regulators have been very forthcoming and have led India to become like this fintech world or fintech hub in terms of payment innovation, I expect something
Yes.
similar to happen for crypto. I hope that they end up taking the right decisions and they end up helping us build like a sandboxed ecosystem where companies can grow and develop and come out. And of course, I think restrictions are important. And restrictions are important from the perspective of safeguarding the retail. Restrictions are also important from the perspective of making sure that there are no unnecessary losses and things are recorded and tracked and transacted and so on and so forth. So that's where I hope things will move towards. Now, to be honest, delaying a bill is very unfortunate, because until a clear cut roadmap or a sandbox comes out, for the industry, it is very difficult to figure out how do you innovate, right? If there is no underlying sandbox or no underlying rules on which you can build things out, how do you play a game on top, right? And that's the problem. Because of there being this uncertainty, good, path making products are not being created in this industry that are India focused right now. Like there are a lot of people and a lot of folks who are working on creating global products like Mudrex, but we are unfortunately unable to focus on the India problem and solve that at scale. Just like how payments have innovated and new payment providers have innovated and become India first and then global later, we would have ideally expected to do that. But because of this lack of certainty, we are unable to, actually genuinely put in resources and scale up innovation in the country. So I think delaying is just unfortunate. I would have expected things to come out and so that we get clarity, but because it's not, it's not.
So in 2017, the RBI had, in 2018 rather, had come out with a ban on cryptocurrency, as such, preventing institutions from dealing in cryptocurrency. And at that point, we saw a lot of individuals continue to trade in cryptocurrency, but they just shifted the way they traded by moving to a kind of a peer-to-peer network. So this time around, if there is a similar ban that comes in that no individuals cannot trade in cryptocurrencies, what do you think would happen?
So I think, Roshan, when someone says ban, that's just it is just glorified and hyped around.
Yeah.
What I expect will happen is that the government will come out and say that okay, this is not allowed. Once there is clarity on what is not allowed, we have other things that we can do using which transactions can happen. So, for example, one way to do, let's say, for example, it's banned for any Indian citizen to hold crypto. Then I'm assuming the government will give a leeway over which their current assets can be liquidated because, like, a large number of the India population is a holder of crypto. So I'm assuming that those kind of steps will be allowed and those kind of sort of limitations or paths will be given for users to exit. What I most likely think will happen is that there will be a ban on where you can transact and who can transact and what kind of KYCs and so on and so forth structures need to be built in by the transacting entities for things to happen. That is what I expect more likely to happen instead of just there being an outright ban. Because to be honest, it's very, very difficult to just go out and ban crypto outright, right? And if you again go back and look at what RBI had done in 2018, what they effectively said is that you shouldn't, like, the banking institutions should not be working with individuals or entities who are doing transactions in crypto. But the RBI said that you're more than welcome to go out and deal in cash. And that's what a lot of people did, right? They continue to deal in cash and they continue to just go out and do that because there was never like an outright ban on holding or trading crypto. It was just that it should not be affiliated with the fundamental infrastructure,
Right.
payments and banking in the country.
Right. I think the fundamental problem here is the government expects that a lot of illicit activity can happen because there is no there's an anonymity in the cryptocurrency world. You don't know who the
Yes.
seller is, who the buyer is. It's all anonymous, right?
Yes.
But
And the
do you think
unfortunate
that is a
part is
problem? Yeah.
the unfortunate part is doing a ban just increases this problem, right? Like if you're able to figure out and create clear structures around KYC, just like how, let's say, in the SEBI rules and governs what is the KYC process for a new investor to create, let's say, a demat account or do equities trading. That KYC process and creating that structure actually makes it clear, and that is what will help us solve the anonymity problem, right? And because at the end of the day, for a vast majority of people, the transactions are always going to happen on an exchange, right? And if you allow inflow and outflow of cash and conversion from INR to crypto via these regulated exchanges, it actually becomes easier for you to track instead of it becoming harder. uh, in fact, actually doing and going down the path of a ban encourages people to do this without being without declaring their assets and so on and so forth, which makes the problem even more difficult. So I would say
Right.
banning is not actually solving the problem, but making it worse.
Right. So, of course, the other outlook is if you can't beat them, join them. So the RBI might just jump in with its own digital currency.
Yes.
And if something like that happens, where do you see that kind of fitting in this whole cryptocurrency ecosystem? You have
Also,
the
I
Bitcoin
think
and
that will,
Ethereum. Yeah.
yeah, I think that will truly be path changing, because what a digital currency allows you to do is that it allows you to create these transactional contracts using technology that today require intermediaries to settle, right? So imagine insurance happening all together, contract infrastructure on top of a digital currency created, right? Or imagine, let's say, lending and borrowing happening on top of this infrastructure just like how it's happening today on Ethereum, on the Aave and Compound marketplaces, right? So the reason why I think it will be path-breaking is it improves efficiency, provides larger access, and removes these middlemen, and at the same time concentrates liquidity. That at the end of the day helps provide better rates and helps provide ease of access to credit and so on and so forth for a vast majority of the country. And I eventually expect some form of digital currency to come up at the end of the day for every individual countries, because every individual country will want to have their own sovereign control over how currency and monetary policy is regulated. And the digital currency approach is a very long-term effective approach to do this, right? We are already seeing this happen in China. There are talks for doing this in Dubai and in the US as well. So I think this will just continue to take momentum. And as I said, we are in the very early years of like a 40, 50 year cycle towards growing this new asset class, right? So these things will definitely continue to evolve and come out.
Great. So do you see China really being a problem here or part of the solution? Because I think right now where the prices are has largely got to do with China, banning the mining of cryptocurrency in China.
So I wouldn't actually look at it that way. If you think about, or if you go back and look at how Bitcoin price was moving for most of this year, you that there was this constant oscillation and this uncertainty already built in before the price crashed, right? And I think what was just waiting was the market was just waiting for some bad news to come in that would trigger it. It is not the cause, I would say, but it is a trigger of this kind of sort of consolidation phase that we are going into now. I think what China has done right now is, of course, to safeguard its own interests and try and figure out how can they have further control over who gets ability to do what, and at the same time move ahead with their own ambitions of building out a digital currency. So the price crash does have some amount of effect because of China, but I don't think that's the main contributor. The reason why it's still steady in this range is because crypto is global, and because globally people are trying to adopt and move into this newer asset class.
Right. And was that part of the reason why you decided to build global rather than even target the Indian market first with Mudrex?
Yeah, so to be honest, actually we originally started off building Mudrex with an India-focused crypto exchange, and the ban that happened in April forced us to figure out a new business model that's more global, where we can truly innovate and create the products that we are looking for. At that point when the ban actually happened, we thought it was the worst thing that could happen to us. In hindsight, I think it's the best thing that could happen to us, right? Because without that clarity coming in that, okay, India market is now out of your control, and because we were so focused and because we strongly believe that crypto is going to be this large asset class over the next few years, we would have never gone ahead and innovated and created something truly for the global market, right? And today, Mudrex is a product that serves people from 70 to 90 different countries, where a vast majority of users are coming in from Europe, Southeast Asia, USA, and is helping us grow into this large global crypto product now today. So I think crypto is global, so there will be global first approaches, and that's what we are heading towards. We are hoping that there is more clarity that comes in with the India markets, so that then we can double down and help create better and better products for our country as well.
Great. So where do you see India in the cryptocurrency ecosystem in say 10 years from now? And we'll end on that.
So I think from an ecosystem perspective, India is this country of startups, right? Like people are founders and innovators by default, and crypto helps us do this globally at scale. So I think over the next 10 years, you will see tens and hundreds and thousands of newer crypto companies come out of India. Some of them will succeed, some of them will fail, and they will not only solve problems of India in terms of finance and credit and availability and accessibility to money, but also try and solve these problems globally. And in a way that's
right.
very, very compatible, in a way that removes middlemen, and in a way that creates efficiencies around the board. So
And what about investors as an investor class? Class?
Yes, I think as an investor class also we will mature. And if you think of it this way, in the last 8 to 10 years, Bitcoin as such itself has got to about 5% of the overall market cap of gold, let's say. And we are sitting at $1.5 trillion worth of market cap of the crypto market, right? Over the next 10 years, I expect this to grow 5 to 6 folds to maybe about $7 to $8 trillion. Bitcoin, of course, leading that way. And around then, once it starts being about 25-30% of the market cap of gold, is when you'll truly start seeing fundamental changes about how people are thinking of store of value, right? We are still in the very, very early phase in terms of the adoption cycle of crypto, right? Barely 50 million to 100 million people across the world have interacted or know or understand what crypto is and have gotten the chance to significantly change their lifestyle with it. Over the next 10 years, this adoption will only intensify, and we will get to more and more and more people as internet grows and as penetration grows, and access to credit and access to banking and money improves across the world.
Great. That was some pretty enlightening stuff that you said there. So thank you so
Roshan.
much, Edul, for speaking to Financial Express, and
My
looking
pleasure.
forward to doing this again as and when we see things maturing in the cryptocurrency market in
Absolutely.
India as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.